My name is Jennifer Tachef, and I'm going to be talking about how to get and keep moms in tech. So let's get into it. So first and foremost, we are a force, right? I don't need to tell any of you all that. Also, I'm on a ball, so I've got a lot of energy, heads up to that. By the age of 44, 86% of all women will be moms, right? And this spans every kind of diversity checkbox, right? Socioeconomics, sexual orientations, abilities, race, etc. So in other words, we've got your diversity pipeline right here. And this is relevant. So I work with a lot of, you're talking a bit about my company and go-to-market strategy and scaling, but I also work with a lot of companies on DEI strategy, right? Like name a tech sexy company, and I've either worked with them directly and or consulted with them, right? And to be honest, moms are usually not a part of the conversation, and they need to be. So how it all started. This is Lionel Richie. If you do not know, I'll tell you how this is all gonna be relevant. In the pandemic, there was someone in the neighborhood that was just putting these ridiculous, amazing signs around the neighborhood to make us all laugh. And so I thought I'd share it with y'all because it makes me laugh. And it's saying, hello, is it me that you're looking for? And as a mom in tech, I would say the answer for a while was a resounding no. I was often the only mom on my team, and I'm also a single mom. Maya's dad actually passed away, so I've raised her 100% on my own. And while I've had incredible, clients and colleagues, it wasn't easy, right? And so then there was a lot of shame and a lot of kind of like hiding that I was a mom early days. And then I just decided I wasn't going to do that, right? Probably I was a little beastly about it as well. And I just found a way to integrate her. Obviously, there's some privilege in this, definitely going to name that. And for the most part, I really wasn't met with a lot of judgment. You'll see on the left, this is Moo, as she's affectionately called, completely taking over my office in downtown Oakland on the left. On the right, I'm actually running a conference at Twitter, and she's surrounded by, I actually titled this presentation, Kick-Ass Mothers in STEM, but there were a lot of them. And then wow, I was gonna say Slack. Snapchat was very cool back in the day. It's so cool, but she had asked if she could join me on a client meeting. And the client, Jarvis Sam, who's now the head of DEI over at Nike, was like, of course. And, what it ends up doing is it helped to humanize, frankly, the conversations that we had and the contract went through and such, but like not everyone can do this. And this is all back in the day, I would say around 2015. And what I found, this is, this was a global conversation, but folks were still very like toe dipping in, like it wasn't safe. So, I traveled all around and, from India to China to Europe, and we would somebody would mention motherhood and it'd feel like it was, somebody pushing the door open a little bit. And then we all were, yeah, how do you do it all? And it feels like you have to choose. And, we knew in 2015, we did industry-wide surveys to hundreds of thousands of women technologists around the globe. And the same themes were, they needed flexibility and they wanted leadership to reflect them, right? And this oftentimes just came back to being a mom in the workforce. So the pandemic surfaced a lot. And this is true, right, in every perspective. And of course, we know it's disproportionately impacted women, especially moms. I'm so not going to rattle off on the horrifying stats, right, of women dropping out of the workforce because it hurts my heart. I also intentionally gave you all a pug on a narwhal with a lightsaber to provide some levity because this year has been a lot and I want to dig into solutions. So how to get moms in tech, that's why we're here. This is an apropos slide, the background, because in the middle, that is when I first met Tina Lee. she's truly the founder of the Mothers in Tech movement. She's been in this work for decades, and there are a lot of orgs coming up, which I'm so thankful. Like this conversation, probably largely in part, to the pandemic, is becoming more and more at the forefront. And but you also have to acknowledge, right, like who's been in the work for a long time. Looking at you, tech moms, and that's Tina Lee and Mother Coders. Going quickly. So this is Mother Coders. It's frankly the next generation of tech. I'm so honored to serve on the board. And what I love, right, about this organization is that I've seen quite a lot, right, in my social impact and nonprofit work. There's an intentionality around the programming, like, so outside of upskilling and returnships. Also, I love, by the way, thinking about Katy Perry's, recent talk, how we use different terms that mean the same thing, right? She was talking about returners, we say career changers, but like clearly resonating threads, right, throughout these different programs. And Mother Coders serves moms, right? It removes obstacles, so childcare to cost, so that moms are succeeding. And the results are insanely powerful, right? 68% experience an increase in income, over 60% now work in tech full time, almost 20% received a promotion, and then 58% were raised above poverty level or low income. Like we know, especially software engineering roles, I think it's like 25% over, in terms of like baseline pay. So it's just rippling generational impact, and never mind that, of course, it's building the tech that we all use, right? So we need these vantage points. Also, the community impact. What I love here is this rising tide lifts all boats, right? 65% used a new skill, a professional relationship, to bring someone else in, to bring them up, because that's how we do, right? 73% of participants said that it positively affected their parenting, which is really interesting, right? And then, of course, we know that when women make more, they reinvest 90% of their incomes back into their community. So virtuous cycle. Clearly, I love the work that Mother Coders do, right? It does, right? So this is an example of our New York launch in 2019, before this all started. It says code like a mother, but it's been cropped, it looks like. So great, in addition to partner orgs doing the work in terms of how to get them into tech, I would also say for all of you out there, remember your own agency if you're at a company currently, in leadership or not, right? Ask the questions, like, what is the company doing when they say they're investing in diversity strategy? Like, are they investing in top of funnel pipeline talent, right? Oftentimes everyone wants mid-level. Like, what are they doing in that kind of top of funnel? And emerging grads are great, and everyone's really excited about those CS majors. But, to Katie's point in the recent talk, career changers, especially moms, they can, they're some of the most efficient workers on the planet. We know this, right? There's stats to back it up. So the easier we make it for moms to get into tech, the more, ironically, all of the diversity objectives that oftentimes these companies, want to hit, are achieved. So how to keep moms in tech. I put through this slide in there just because it's a quarantine fail. In America, a lot of the folks were baking. So I thought I'd try. Moms come in all different shapes and sizes. While this was delicious, it was not aesthetically pleasing. So I just wanted to show it to y'all because, I imagine some of you are maybe better bakers, and yeah, it's fun. So how to keep moms in tech. Solutions that I would put forth from my conversations and from my research. We already know about flexibility, right? The ability to, be humans first, right? Knowing that like things will come up. If you need to, leave at 4 to then come back on or log back on at 8, it's not about the green Slack, or Google Chat button showing that you're there, as much as like hitting your deliverables, right? And we're uniquely adept at doing that, moms. Also, moms in senior leadership, right? it matters. And if you are a mom in senior leadership, I hope that you're also thinking in accord to role modeling the behaviors that you want to see, right? If you're burnt out, never taking time, like you're setting the tone, right? So don't try and emulate what has been existing in leadership. You really need to set the standard. It's important. And then culture reflecting the policies a company espouses. I have seen the most beautiful policies in the world, right, out there, and the employer branding is on point in these companies, and yay team, and yet the culture does not reflect that, right? So what that looks like is, if everyone, the only way to connect is everyone going out drinking, that's maybe going to moms may self-select out of that. That's not always true. Moms can rally, but like there has to be, different ways of being inclusive, right, to everyone. Also, if the work is the entire identity of an employee versus, we talk about work-life balance. However, we know that's nowadays not necessarily the jam, but like making sure that boundaries exist so that you truly are, if you say you're humans first, then be that, right? And you could still get incredible work done. I also believe you were talking, Katie, about your small team, but small teams can make miracles happen. But you got to allow for people to serve their families as well. And then I put life integration here, which I consciously didn't put work-life balance because I know that it's not a thing, but life integration. So I've worked from home for a while or remotely, and the access to you, right, and the ability to constantly be on and all of that. And this shouldn't be epiphanic for a lot of people, but it's strange that it can be. And so what that looks like is, if a kid comes into a Zoom call, celebrate that. If you need to reschedule, if you need, I want there to be less shame around these things. And I don't, and we need to talk about, like, you don't get to just like come into somebody's life, but then not allow for them to fully represent, right, their lives on the flip side of that. And so I think this is important to think about, because all of these things kind of come back to giving a mom agency and frankly mitigating burnout, right? Because you need moms in your company. It's 86% of all women. So that's a little bit around how to get and keep moms in tech. This is how you can get in touch with me. What I'd love for all of you to do is to reach out to Tina Lee, founder of the frankly Mothers in Tech and Mother Coders movement, and just thank her. Just be like, thank you so much for doing this for decades. We see you, we appreciate you. It's really important to acknowledge. That's also Mother Coders doing great work. And then you can reach out to me directly if I can support you in any way. I'd love to. It is all about rising tides lift, boat. So like, I'm in it with you. I want to support this community, and yeah, that's what I would say.